Sports IQ with Larry Smith. Glad you're here with us, and boy, we've got a great show for you coming up. There are 3 undefeated teams in Division I basketball. We have a member of the coaching staff of one of them, Jonathan Holmes. He's the associate head coach of Miami of Ohio, 20-0 going into tonight's game against UMass. He'll join us here in a couple of minutes. How the RedHawks have done this coming up and getting into the top 25, and maybe one of those teams we're going to be watching here in March. And a bit later, our friend Hondo Carpenter coming up. Hondo writes for Sports Illustrated, but he is a veteran. You might recall we had the conversation when he first joined us on the show last year. Recalled we had met 20 years ago at a Final Four. Always has great insight. So we'll talk Michigan State, maybe a little NFL as well, maybe a little college sports. We'll with Hondo, it is always a great conversation and always fantastic stories. So we can't wait for that. Speaking of great stories, if you missed it, you can still go back in anywhere, Spotify, Apple, or even again on our YouTube page. Thanks for everyone jumping on there. And hear yesterday's Pete Babcock, the former NBA GM, with just some tremendous stories from his own career, also from Red Auerbach, and some great stories there. If you missed it, you got to go back and check that out. It was really, really good stuff. We've got Jonathan and Hondo today. By the way, later on, we've got tomorrow we'll talk a little NFL with Shane Shoemaker of Heavy.com. We've also, it's kind of an ACC week. We will talk with insiders this week from Duke, Clemson, and Virginia. So it is being in full basketball mode. The ACC right now, again, I just named to you probably only maybe 5 teams in contention for an NCAA bid, and those are the ones right there. So kind of crazy stuff. Anyway, let's get right to some of our headlines for today, our thoughts as we work through here on this Tuesday. The new AP basketball poll is out. Arizona is your number one. By far, the Wildcats have just been outstanding. Boy, and they look really good again Monday night. They're number 1. UConn 2, Michigan, Duke, and Nebraska. First time ever in the top 5. The Cornhuskers coming in at number 5. Gonzaga at 6, then Michigan State, Iowa State's 8, Illinois, and then Houston. Now, speaking of Nebraska, huge week for them as they try to stay undefeated. They're at number 3, Michigan, tonight, Tuesday night, and then they host Illinois Sunday afternoon. Now, here is how off the radar Nebraska basketball is. This game on Sunday, it's a top 10 matchup, right? Number 5, Nebraska, hosting 9th-ranked Illinois. Illinois' only loss was on a buzzer beater in Champaign to Nebraska back in mid-December. Haven't lost since then, 9 straight wins. So number 5 versus number 9, it's on FS1, not even on Fox or CBS, because when they set the schedules, nobody saw Nebraska doing anything. This was a game, they'll be 500 maybe, and you move on. Turns out, though, it's a top 10 matchup that'll be on Fox. So how crazy is that? So looking forward to that matchup. A big week here for college basketball, and huge there for Nebraska as well. Hey, Super Bowl 60. Time to start kind of talking about some things. We looked up a few trivial things for you to impress your friends. Patriots and Seahawks. It's the 10th Super Bowl rematch in NFL history. The winner of the first meeting is 6-3 in the second meeting. But keep in mind, the Eagles got their revenge on the Chiefs just last year in Super Bowl 59. It's the first Super Bowl matchup since 1981 between teams who had preseason Super Bowl odds of 50-1 or longer. The Pats 4-13 last year. Jared Mayo was fired. They bring in Mike Vrabel. Seahawks just 10-7 last year. Traded their starting quarterback Geno Smith to the Raiders, and then shipped out wideouts DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett. Yet here they are. It's pretty cool. 27 stadiums have hosted Super Bowls, 20 of them still active in 16 cities. It's the third time that the San Francisco metro area will host, so they become the 9th city to host 3 or more. And by the way, New England, we've talked about all the championships and all the Super Bowls and all that. Here's the thing. They're only 1-0 in outdoor Super Bowls. They beat Philly in Jacksonville way back when, I think it was 2005 when that one happened. They've won Super Bowls in 6 different cities and trying to make that now 7 against Seattle. One quick stadium note, by the way, Chicago Bears, where you living? You're in Soldier Field right now. You couldn't work out things in the city. You bought that land, spent almost $200 million to buy the old racetrack at Arlington Heights in the suburbs. You can't get the city to play ball on infrastructure. Now you're looking at Gary, Indiana, and they're working through that process there. They're excited. They just created a stadium, commission to look over this. But boy, there's one thing. Turns out, it looks like some reporting I'm reading right now, Indiana, in their measure, they want to retain ownership of the stadium. What a concept. Sure they do. So anyway, maybe Gary, Indiana is not that, but maybe it gets Illinois. It's a bargaining tool. They want to get Illinois in play to move the needle. Let's see what happens.